Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the five sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the five sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal,
What's
right?
up, everybody? It's Big Snipe Mike here with the Accolades Family Discord, Accolades Family Podcast here. Market flow. It's been a while. I know I've taken a couple weeks off, had a lot going on in life. Just moving into a new house and all that good life stuff that comes with trading, after the fact. So it's been a while, but I'm back. We're back in action, and I got Crispy, one of our moderators from the Accolades Trading Discord, on with me tonight. And yeah, we're gonna hear a little bit about Crispy's trading career, how he started, all that good stuff. And then me and Crispy trade a lot together. We've been we go back and forth all day in private messaging and stuff. So we got some recaps that we're going to go over as well of trades that we've taken this week. But before we get into that, we'll just let you know straight up that everything that we go over today is our ideas and opinions, not financial advice. Don't take it as that. We're not financial advisors. We're just expressing our ideas, opinions, and things that we think might happen. So we'll leave it at that. And then as well as hit the link down below if you're not a part of the Discord. Join the Discord's free. The link's right there. Hit it, and there's no payments, and a lot of these people are charging money for pumps, and we don't pump. We find A+ setups and work together and have a good time. So Crispy, how you doing, man? How you doing today?
I am good. I'm very good. I'm very good. Thank you for having me on, and let's see where this goes. This is gonna
Yeah.
be a fun day.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Yeah, we've been trying to get you on past couple weeks. I know, I've been slacking, so it feels good to finally get you on here, and we'll go over. So I know, you've just became a full-time trader the past month, quit your job, did that big step that everyone dreams of doing, quitting their jobs and doing this full time. Now, how did that come about? When did you? Let's start at the beginning. When did you start trading? How did you start trading? How did you find the market? All that good stuff.
Um, so back in 2020, we had that big old market dip where everything was like down 20%, and before that, my buddy had he had told me about stocks and ETFs and stuff like that, and mutual funds. So I was like, you know what? I have all this money set aside. It's not building any sort of good interest. Let me throw it into a Fidelity account and let's see where it goes. So essentially, at that point, I kind of bought the dip, you would say.
Uh,
And once the market started to recover, um, essentially I was up 20%, actually a lot more than 20, just 20%. So that's kind of the beginning for me in the market. Once that was over, I had a lot of shares of like stocks that were like in the EV sectors, like Neo or whatnot, and
uh,
then part of my account were in Fidelity mutual funds.
Did
And that,
were you in on that Neo squeeze when Neo squeezed? Did you get in on that? Because that's how I came into the market, was through the Neo squeeze. I know a lot of people came in through the AMC squeeze. I came in through the Neo squeeze.
yeah, you're actually correct. I actually came into the during the Neo squeeze. I think my average cost per share was like $7.
Oh
But
wow, you got me beat. I was in at 20.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
I mean,
funny memories.
it was a good move. It was a good move on that time, but to be honest, like I had no clue of what the hell the market was doing. I was just buying shit to buy it. I was
Yeah,
buying it because it was hype. You read the news, oh,
yeah,
Neo's up this and that, you buy it. That was pretty
yeah.
much it.
See the Reddit forums and everyone's like Neo to the moon. It's gonna be the next Tesla. I was the same boat. That's how I got brought to the market. I was all in Neo, and I mean I made a bunch of money. I'm not gonna lie. I took it from 20 to 40, but
Mhm.
I ended up blowing up after that because I had no clue what I was doing. Yeah, but yeah, go ahead. Anyway.
Yeah. So I guess after like the EV bubble kind of collapsed, I still had shares of Neo and all my funds were still in mutual funds. Didn't really do much with it. And it kind of came to a point where it was just plateauing. Everything was trading sideways for a good, I don't know, half a year.
Mhm.
I saw that it didn't go anywhere. Then out of nowhere, I missed the GME pump and all that. Then AMC, I don't know where it ran. I decided on that day to go ahead and just dump all my Neo shares and chase that AMC hype. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
still no clue what the hell I was doing. Didn't understand the charts for anything. Chased it, made that money, and I would say within less than 5 minutes. I couldn't believe how much money I had made within less than 5 minutes. I was making a month's salary within 5 minutes, right?
Yeah. So
So
Chasen worked out on AMC. Yeah, I missed the whole. I mean, I scalped it on the way up, but I didn't believe in it. I didn't believe in AMC. I believed in GME, but I was too late when I finally started to see it. And then AMC, I totally missed that whole squeeze. I scalped it from like 20 to 22 one day, but that's about it. Who would have known? Hold it a couple hours longer. But yeah, so you made a bunch of money on AMC.
yeah, I wouldn't say a bunch of money on it, but I made some money. It kind of got me to a point where I'm like, wow, there's actually a lot of potential in this. Instead of me just leaving my funds sitting still, let me convert over to like trying to day trade, because I was still working from home from the pandemic or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, I started kind of following all these different pumps. The 2021 had a bunch of pumps. I
Yeah.
think the next pump that really made me like, crazy amounts of money where I was able to double my portfolio.
Uh,
Like, keep in mind, I started with like, say, I think 90K. And after like, the AMC craze and then me following all these, random pumps or whatnot, just on like, hopes and prayers that it would pump, you
yeah.
know, I was able to push it up to around, I believe it was like 210, right?
Oh wow. Okay.
210K. And keep in mind again, this is just me essentially not day trading, but purely gambling. I would
Gambling. Yeah.
hold I would hold stupid large positions overnight on certain stocks, like not really caring if it did dump because I kind of had that mentality of wow, I started with 90, now I'm at 200 and something K. I have that buffer zone. If it drops, it drops. I'm okay with that. But
Yeah, not respecting, the new. That's what a lot of people I find do in the market too. I did it as well. When I'm up big, it's like okay, but I only started with this amount, so if I lose it, like it's fine. They don't respect that new money as like that's their money now. That's your money now. Like there's you got to respect it as much as you respect that initial investment.
yeah, that's 100% correct. So from there on, I think it was around June of 2021 where the market kind of started to slow down, and me gambling essentially, I started taking hits after hits after hits. I went from 210K nearly back down to like 130, and then it was just downhill from there. Um, at that point, I was like, "What the hell am I doing?" Let me just slow down a little bit. I want to see where I can,
Take a step back, look it
yeah,
over. Yeah,
yeah, try to learn somewhat, and then like I think on one day I took a dumb, huge loss. Like guarantee you at least 20K or something. And I was just thinking, like, what the hell is wrong with me, dude? I gotta cut this crap out. Like nothing was really hot in the market. There weren't really that many momentum plays still pumping.
yeah,
And I was just, I remember watching or listening on one of the podcasts that you guys had. And, you were saying that you were going through the Weeble comments and looking at Weeble stuff like that.
yeah,
And I was in the exact same boat trying to find the next play. But instead of finding the next play, I actually found the accolades. You were really posting the comments, and I found the Discord. And you know, essentially after that, I joined the Discord. First week or so, I was able to, recuperate some of those losses. But that was just me going off of your alerts or whatnot.
uh-huh,
And at certain point in times where I would try to go off an alert, but then I was being called back into work at the same time.
yeah,
So I was missing a lot of the alerts. I wasn't really able to focus on it, learn as much as I wanted to. And essentially it actually kept on going downhill from there. Joining the Discord, you would think that okay, I'm gonna go up these alerts, I'm gonna make all this money.
yeah.
But you have to realize that that's actually the wrong way to do it.
Yeah, so that's what I always say too is like we'll give you a fish to start, right? We're gonna hand you a couple fish, give it to you to start so you can kind of get, a couple wins under your belt. But then the whole point is to teach you how to fish, right? So you become your own, we're the only Discord that you'll find where it's like we're pushing education. We're not pushing, just pump and buy the dip, buy these alerts, and you're gonna get rich because it's not the case. Buying alerts will help in the beginning, right? And maybe and sometimes it doesn't, especially if you don't have screen time. you don't have screen time. Some of these day trades, they go so quick. We're in and out, and then you come back after not watching it for 20 minutes and you're down. So that's what we always say. That's what I always say is, we'll give you a couple fish to start, but then it's going to be time to start learning how to fish.
Yeah, yeah, that's it's 100% true. I mean, I think there was one trade that I had taken, and essentially it was just blame it on me for sure. I had no clue what the hell I was doing at that point. I took it, I was up a little bit, then I jumped back in, didn't know when to exit, where to enter, and then it just essentially there. It blew my account, right? I took 210K down to 50K within like a span of I don't know how many months.
Less
And
than a year.
yeah, in less than a year. So you get to a point where you're like, I'm part of this Discord, right? These guys are still making money. They're still going green every single day. They're hammering it out. What am I doing wrong? You know,
Hmm.
like there's no reason why these guys could be making money and I'm going in red every single day, every other day. Like I'm doing something wrong. I need to fix it. So that's when I actually started reaching out to you. Before that, I had learned stuff about patterns, risk. I was trying to control all that, but it wasn't really going so well. But then I reached out to you, and you're like, you know what, Crispy? Or actually, I reached out to you to ask for some educational materials, and you had
Yep.
recommended those books. All the books that you recommended me, I read through all of them. I decided to turn this around. I'm not doing any more of this dumb stuff.
Yep.
I'm gonna put in that same effort that I did when I was in college, so that I could graduate. Like
Yep.
I would take, 19 hours. Yeah.
You paid your tuition, right? You came
Yeah.
in. It happens to all of us, right? I did the same thing. I doubled up, right? I was on top of the world, and then I blew up that account. I was like, whoa, what the hell am I doing? Then I blew up another one, and I was like, okay, maybe it's time to actually start learning. So it takes some pain sometimes to actually be like, okay, what am I doing wrong? Other people are getting rich doing this. It's not a scam like I see it. So now let's get down to the nuts and bolts and figure out, and that's when you start to actually put in the work. And I remember when he came to me, we hopped on voice. I went over or we hopped on a call. I forget. Went over my scalping strategy with you. We went over a couple different things. And then you've actually put in the work. I get a lot of DMs. I get all these members in our Discord, and I want to help them. And I get a lot of DMs of people that want help and they want to learn. But then when I tell them something as simple as go read the Candlestick Bible and DM me with your questions, you don't hear from them again because they don't want to read the book. But yeah, you put in it's you're gonna get back what you put into this, just like anything in life. And I can definitely attest to you as putting in the work. You put in the work. We've done recaps together every single night for like a good 2 months straight, where we were just sending trade recaps back and forth. And then you got yourself into a place where you were able to quit your job. Now tell me a little bit about that. Like what changed in the strategy and what you were doing from where you were able to, you're going down, 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 getting smoked, lost 150K, to now, okay, now I'm ready to quit my job and just to pursue this full time.
So essentially, it kind of started where I mean, I was studying a lot. Like, I mean, I was like 30 hours into the podcast that you had suggested on the educational section. I stared at least, I don't know, over 200 different charts. I started doing a lot of journaling of my trades. Even if I messed up a trade, I would journal it. I didn't really understand how to trade it properly via looking at indicators and candles. So I was journaling what I was thinking, why I took that trade, stuff like that. So I'd accumulated all this information, strategies to go long or whatnot, and all that. Then one day I remember you mentioning something about trading up or switching up your strategy to VWAP. Then I focused on that and I was studying that. I was like, holy shit, VWAP really makes sense, right?
Yeah,
And I built the strategy on that, trying to understand why stocks would go long or why stocks were pumping, bouncing off of VWAP and all that good stuff, right?
yeah,
And then we got to the point where, I saw that you were scalping these stocks. I'm like, dude, how's this guy doing it so well? I mean, you're like, okay, you were talking little bull. You were like, okay, yeah, little bull. I could teach you. I was like, dude, you know what? Mike's willing to teach. Let me message Mike. And then we hopped on that call. You started sending over your trade recaps. And next thing you know, I was just building more and more and more like of my own strategy based off of what you were doing. I was understanding. I would take one of your recaps, no levels or anything marked on it, just where you entered and where you exit. I would pull up those charts. I would mark out all the supports and resistances. I'm like, okay, Mike took this trade because of this. He took that trade because of that. He exited here because of this. And once you get into that flow and you're understanding all that, like you one day you just really it really clicks. It really
Snaps, yeah.
it snaps and you understand it. And so at that point, I was still they called me back in full time and I was just getting sick and tired of it, you know. They were paying me really good money to do what I was doing and they wanted to give me a raise. Like if I asked for a stupid number, they probably would have given it to me because of what I was doing. It was a specialty.
Uh,
But I realized I'm like I did the math and I'm like, dude, I'm making only what like a couple $100 an hour. Like not hour, I'm sorry, a couple
a
$100 a
day.
day. There's so much potential in this market because I have made five figures once in one day within 4 hours sitting there soldering and stuff at the company I was working at. I was making crazy money.
Hmm.
So we got to the point where I was like, I built up all these strategies. Mike has really shed a new light on this whole entire stock market for me. And I was talking to my fiance. I was like, baby, I think I could do this. I just need the time to sit there and focus on the charts and the
The
stocks.
screen time, yeah.
Yes, full fledged on screen time. None of this BS from on my phone and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
And that was it. I walked into my manager's office like a week after coming back from vacation. I told him, hey, I'm putting in my 2 weeks notice, man. I'm gonna have to go. He literally said, why? And I was just like, I got to do my own thing. I got stuff I got to take care of, and that was it. And 2 weeks later, I'm sitting here doing this full time.
Yeah, that was. I remember when you DM me. You're like, I'd put in my 2 weeks notice. I was like, fuck yeah, because you're like, that's the first. Because we only started this Discord a few months ago, and you're like the first one that's like pretty much graduating. Like you did the deal, you put in the work, and then now here we are, and you get to quit your job, and you're killing it too. Like your first week full time, what'd you net? Like a little over 5 grand, and then the next week you netted like 12, and then now you're up like 30K from like you're fucking killing it. Who need like it's pretty dope to see. So that's cool. That's a good story. I love hearing these success stories and seeing you prosper, bro. It brings joy to me to watch you prosper. Because I did it. I got it. It's fun and all. I make money, whatever. Money's easy to get once you learn how to get it, right?
Yeah,
Heat seeking pigment. So my co-host, he's not here today. He's got some stuff to handle, but he always says it. He always says it to me. He's like, bro, you got the money. It's easy to get. It's easy to get. He's like, now it's like what else is going to bring you joy in life, because obviously money's great, and it does buy. I hate the people that say it doesn't buy happiness, because it definitely does. But what else can you add to your life? And this is what I do, is I like to watch people like Crispy come up, hit me up. Yo, what do I need to do? I just fucked up. I blew up 200K. What's next? And then do the work. And then now he's clocking. But you DM me the other day. You're like, I'm up 30K since I went full time. So you already netted at least a quarter of what you've lost since you dumped that money off. So it's great to see. So we're gonna jump into no, we did we're gonna jump into some recaps. Look over the SPY here. Looks like we broke out of this downward channel here. We were in. We were trading in this downward channel for a while, in this correction or whatever you want to say. We've got SPY complete breakout, slow, low volume melt up. Same thing that happened last time over here. It was this low volume melt up, right? 50 million, 40 million a day. And then the downwards, you've got 100 million, 120, 200 million, 220. So it's a little weird action on the SPY right now. I know it's breaking out. I don't understand why. I don't think it's done with the downside. So we're going to be watching for this key level next week. Is going to be 58s, 458s, 457s. We're double topped here. This is going to be a key level to watch. If it can break over this level, it should come up and probably test all-time high. But if it rejects this level, I mean, we've got a lot of things that there's a lot of negative catalysts that can hit at any time to tank it. So this is one key level we're going to watch. We're going to be watching for if it goes up and tests all time high. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna. I'm still bearish on it, even though it has broken out in reverse. This is technically a reversal. It broke this high here, broke out of this downward channel. I still something's fishy with it. It's such a low volume run up, and I mean, it did have 100 mil day, but the rest of the days aren't really 77 mil. That's an average day when you have this downside move where you had 200 mil plus on the red candles. It's a little odd to me. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm bearish on the economy in general right now. SPY does look bullish though, so something to keep in mind. Now we'll get into some recaps. So the first one I want to touch is we don't hide our red trades here at Accolades. We go over them, right? So CLVR is one that I took yesterday. Me and Crispy took it. I'm pretty sure Crispy, you were green on it now.
I was initially green on it. I came back in, took it again, and then
Uh,
ended out in red.
and all right, okay. So yeah, this one got us. So I got smoked on it yesterday, and I could have been green. I was up. Should have been green. Coulda, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Right, but whatever. We're gonna go over it anyway. So we're on Trading View here. I always review my trades on Trading View. I love the platform. I don't even have to pay for it, and I can review my trades. I don't even pay for this platform, and I still use it. So it's great. So initial short, we had the market open breakout. This is where I should have known not to take this trade to begin with. Is because I missed this top add here into this resistance. This is where I should have been adding, and I took the VWAP break here instead. And when it broke down VWAP, I had like a 214 average. I ended up hammering it again. I took a little off here, but I ended up hammering it again into VWAP. And we kept hammering. I remember we were in the chat, like, it keeps rejecting VWAP. So I just kept hammering VWAP, hammering VWAP. Then I noticed this wedge formed, and I was a little too late when I noticed it. As soon as it broke this wedge, that was the sign to go long here. I didn't. I got too much pride. I got conviction on this piece of shit dumping because that's my mentality. Let my bias get in the way of making money today. Yes, on Friday. And that's what it is. I'm a short bias trader, so I see these junk stocks running. In my head, I'm just looking to go short, and that's what I need to work on is being able to identify these long entries and take them, because when it held this 190 level and then it held this bottom here on this trend line, that was the long entry when it broke this top right here, and then it consolidated and ripped. So I ended up taking about $12,000 loss when I finally stopped out. I tried to hammer it one more time here into 2.3, thinking it was going to reject like it did in the market open, and it busted right through. But I was able to take my lump, right? It took my lump, and I was able to switch and be like, okay, here's the breakout. I didn't want to touch these candles, were a little odd to me. So once I seen that parabolic move, I went long for a scalped it one time, twice, scalped it again, hammered short for the backside. I was able to mitigate a little bit of the loss, but I had so much size on this initial short that this loss outweighed this win. Chris, you got anything to add to this play here? Anything you noticed that we missed maybe when we were trying to short it?
I've been reviewing it in the morning, and I've noticed it has a similar pattern to what is it? I believe it was B cell back on March 4th, right? That news, it was a Friday as well. And essentially, what these stocks have been doing is that they've been consolidating around VWAP, and you can short it as much as you can, but there's always that buyer
Uh,
that comes in and soaks up every single goddamn dip,
yeah, I see what you're
right?
talking about here.
Right?
Soaked it up.
And then essentially, boom, after they finish soaking it up towards afternoon, they pump it all the way up.
Bro, you know what? I took a nasty loss on this one too, it looks like.
Yeah. Hey, I mean,
Seems
here's
like
the,
Fridays I should just call it a day, right? Just
you,
wake up, take sleep in, and call it a day because
I've been contemplating that, right? I've been contemplating that, but we keep on taking these losses on these Friday pumps, and you have to. It doesn't matter if you take that loss, you go back, you review it, and you try to understand why it's doing that. You know,
yep.
I plan on going back in and reviewing my long strategies based off of VWAP, and
Mhm.
dude, next Friday if this pops up, dude,
We're taking it long. Yeah, no, I
we're
feel
taking
you.
shit. We're
Because
taking it
when
long.
when when we first went and got together and I was telling you my strategy, it was a long and short strategy. It
Hmm.
wasn't just a short bias strategy. And I think I've strayed away from it too, the long side, because the past 3 months has been so short. It's been so bearish. We've been able to crush anything that pumps. You just hammer it and you win. Like here's a good one that we hit last week. And even last week, we still see the weakness, but it's starting to get stronger. But we're
Hmm.
looking at a lot of these stocks from January on, from the new year on, that pump and then they dump. And we've been hammering the dumps. And I think now that we're starting to see a little bit of strength in the SPY, IWM2 is starting to show some strength that we're going to have to watch for more long strategies. So here's a winner chicken dinner on FEDU, Chinese educational stock. Or is this a Cayman Island? No, I'm pretty sure this is a Chinese edu. But FedU, it pumped on low volume, halted up, right? This was the big halt up here, and I had mentioned it into the chat. I tagged you. It was like fed you. Keep an eye on it. As soon as it came out the halt, it had a huge seller right at the resistance level. I mean, it broke through this one, but it had this was a resistance right here from 430 from 1.36 to 1.46. So a whole level of resistance. Had a big seller, started to hammer in, and we've got an all-day fader. These are what we look for here. This is our favorite. So this one was an all-day fader. Crispy, you took this trade, right?
Oh yeah, I took that
Yeah,
trade.
it's a Chinese-based educational company. I just looked it up because it says Cayman Inc. on it, but it's not Cayman Islands. It's China. So we love these Chinese pumps. They always seem to dump because of the headlines that are going on right now. That even just recently they pumped because they were talks of not delisting anymore, and how they were going to follow all these things. And then on Friday, I seen, or was it Friday or was it Thursday? One of the 2 days, I seen on CNBC that they're no longer, that they're definitely, or not definitely, but that they were delisting again. And I seen like DB and Neo and all these stocks, this right here, they just fell off a cliff. And they were pumping so hard for the past 2 weeks. And it sucks because a lot of these companies are decent, and it's just a few bad apples that pretty much get like Baba's a decent company. It's a legitimate company. And then you got the few bad apples that are reporting fake income, and they're lying to investors that cause all the rest of these. So yeah, this one too, it gapped down, Baba. So yeah, something to watch for next week. Any headline China related could be a short or it could be a long. But yeah, FedU was a great trade. I think we executed perfectly. Cover out was perfect. I mean, we could have held it overnight, but there's no reason to when you got such a great, dump. I think this is like a 40% play from here to here. Another good one was going to be LLL. Did you take LLL?
Yeah, I did.
So LLL, I played the long and then the short. So this is one of the times where I actually didn't let my bias get in the way. Now this is because I overnight a lot of inside bar plays. That's my long A+ long strategy. And I seen LLL had the inside bar. So when I see that it had the inside bar here, right here. I didn't take it overnight. I forgot to. I ended up going with Beckett, which we'll pull up in a minute instead. But this had the inside bar, so I seen it get that pop pre-market, and it popped like 28%. As soon as it flushed, I grabbed the flush here into this dip around 404, and I sold out right before the resistance, and then I sold into this resistance, and then I flipped. I started to accumulate short. Locates were cheap on it, even though it was a multi-day runner. So we started to accumulate short. Did you trade this long at all, or were you just short on it?
I was just short on it.
Short on it. Okay, cool. Yeah. So did you catch the same entry, the 40 or the 520 area, or would you catch at?
I believe I caught it on the, I would say the third short position where it rejected the upper band. I believe
This
that's where
upper
I caught
band
it.
rejection. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you love these bands, right? So the the full VWAP with the upper and lower bands. So tell me, how do you add that into your strategy? Because I'm still learning the bands. I use them because I do see a lot of rejections and holds on them. So what do you look for the reject of the upper band? Is that a short indicate for you?
Yeah, so it's essentially the upper and lower bands are just oversold and overbought indicators. That's what I do. Yeah, I mean, if it rejects it, essentially it's overbought at the upper band. So essentially, people are going to be selling it,
Mm-hmm.
and essentially that's what you play. The flow is just a flow of how the price scanner is going to act when they hit the bands. If you're at the lower band, people are buying it, they're covering their shorts or whatnot, and then at the upper band, they're shorting into it or they're selling their shares.
And then when it breaks down, you usually see this nice move down every
Oh
time
yeah,
it breaks that lower band. Yeah, I tend to see that here too. Look, broke down this lower band and just, and when it breaks the upper band, a good one to look at is, so we could have looked at this too yesterday on CLVR, when it broke that upper band here. It broke this upper band right here. It was gone. It sailed along the upper band all the way to the top, and now it's just sitting on top of the upper band. So this actually next week is my top watches are going to be all the weed stocks because they all ran so hard.
yep.
And the past, I've been in the market since about 2019, 2020, since the Neo squeeze, right? And every year they do the same thing where they have they're gonna federally legalize weed. Everybody, all the bulls come out and I've gotten caught in it. I've gotten, I was in Tilray and Sundial last time that they had the vote, and I was holding a huge bag of both. And then every time they deny it, every time it fails, and it just is gonna dump. So we're gonna be watching a lot of these next week for the swing low. All right, so one more we're going to go over, and then we'll wrap it up here. Was going to be, what was my last trade I wanted to go over here? Hold on. There's one more that I wanted to go over, if I can find it here.
Yes, you said three. You had LL, and then Clover, and then what is it? Oh, FEQ.
Did we go over them all? You know
Yeah,
what?
we went over all three of them.
Went over all three of them.
Yeah, LL, Clover, and then F Education.
Yep, Fed. Okay, so then that's it. Do you have a chart you want to look at before we close out? Anything you're looking for next week? You know what? One that I'll pull up that we were both looking at. We missed it. We were a day early, dollar short, like usual. Same thing with Mullen. Was Arcadia, right? I said this is going to be a great swing short. Right over here, I said it. It was at like 218, bro. And I was like, I'm going to start accumulating soon. I started accumulating in this 2.3s, and then it ripped on me. And I ended up stopping out, and I didn't re-enter like I said I was going to. And it's literally dropped almost, 90 cents since, I was so pissed about this one. But, what can you do? You can only be on time every time, every once in a while. I mean, you can't be on time every time, only once in a blue moon where you find a great setup and you miss it. But this was the same thing as Mullen a couple of days ago or a couple of weeks ago. I DM'd you. I was like, we're going to catch this. It's going to be like CEI. We're going to catch the halt downs. And, we missed the whole move on the downside. I mean, we caught some scalps on it, but we didn't catch it like we were planning. But it's all right. There'll be plenty more of these Arcadias. I got a whole list of multi-day runners. I'm going to put them up in the Discord later. But once again, if you're not in the Discord, hit the link down below. Join us. It's free. You could have a success story too. Crispy's a fucking living proof of it. You do the work, you get the results. Also, hit my Twitter up as well. Give me a follow on Twitter. Like and subscribe. Help the Discord, help the YouTube channel grow, help us grow, and we appreciate it. And that's all I got, Crispy. You got anything left to say?
I mean, I hope everyone who's in the Discord, I mean, you put in that hard work, right? Just put in that hard work, have some goals set, and anybody could do this. Anybody could do this. You just have to study and work hard. That's it. Just keep doing it. Don't give up.
Yeah, that's it. Study, work hard, put in the hours. Screen time's important. I was a carpenter not too long ago before the pandemic, and I barely made it out of high school. And if I can do it, I'm living proof that anybody that puts their mind to it can do it. And I started with a little account too. A lot of people, they're always like, I'm starting with so small amount of money, and it's like the money doesn't matter. Don't look at it like money. Just look at the percentages. Grow your percentages. I know you see these big gains on Twitter. You see 1.6 million P&Ls a day, and I'm sure that person didn't start with that. And if they did, then they had daddy money to start with. If you're starting with a small amount of money like I did, I started with $3,000. You can do it too, and that's all that matters is as you put the work in, stack the compound those stacked gains, and you'll get there. But with that, it was a pleasure, Crispy, having you on, bro. I love you. I love watching your process. Love seeing you kill it, and I can't wait to get to it with you on Monday.
All right, man. Love you, Tim. Have a good weekend, brother.
Yeah, have a good weekend.